I know you think this is going to make noise, but I don't know if you can hear it at all. Can you? Can we close the doors? That's a good look, Jared. Can somebody take a picture of Jared?
Multitasking.
Exactly. Welcome, everybody. Oh my gosh. Welcome, everybody. Great turnout today. We've got some great content, I think. I love the staging. Who did our staging for us, Jason?
My favorite stager.
Was it Susie? Yeah. Okay, awesome. Wonderful. Well, welcome everybody. We're going to be talking about client events today, as you know, and we've got 4 masters of handling client events. And so we're going to start off. I sent you guys a couple of questions I was going to start with. And Melissa, I'll start with you, so we don't forget the question by the time we get back to you. So tell us about your very first event.
You know, it's funny, I was talking to Chuck about the questions, and I was trying to remember, because it was so long ago, and we had this really sad bowling party in Toronto. It was like, looking back, it was like the greatest thing. It was not a great part of town, but you know, you do what you do when you start out, right? And a lot of our business was in Toronto during that time, so we found a place in Etobicoke, and that was our first client event.
Did you have a lot of people show up?
You know what, I don't remember. I remember being pregnant with Vivian, that's how long it was. Okay. And probably, I would guess, if I had to guess, maybe like 50 people showed up, so it was pretty small, yeah.
That's great. Where was this bowling alley?
Oh God, Chuck.
Was it like 6 points?
Do you remember? I remember it was in Etobicoke by the IKEA.
It was 6 points.
6
Was
points.
it really?
Yeah. So
oh, that's a dump.
You've got a visual. You've got a visual, right?
Oh
right?
my goodness, that's
right?
awesome.
I know. Can you believe it?
Oh my
anyways,
God.
Yeah.
Well,
You got to start somewhere.
Krystle, how about you?
Well, we've been doing client events probably for about 25 years, even before I started in the business through my mom. But I remember going to her first event. It was a Christmas party. She's always known for her lavish Christmas parties. And I was young and I had to be there and dress up, and I hated my life, but now I enjoy it. So it was a long time ago. I don't remember how many people. But the first one that I actually put together and did was the first one last year with that I did with our new team since we took over my mom's business, and we did at Erin Hills Acre Farms, and it was a blast. We had about 150 people show up, and it was a freezing cold day, but it was a great turnout and a lot of good feedback after.
Oh,
that was my
fantastic.
first on my own, really.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Kai, how about you? What was your first one?
First one, just like Krystle's experience. So basically we did ours on what used to be on the Curve. Do you remember what that was?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 65 City Center Drive. It became the beer market later on, and then now it's the Keg, I believe. But anyways, yeah, it's doing that 2007, I think. My dad's not here to correct me, is he? Okay, he's not here. But yeah, we're doing it before I got the license. We had quite a bit of people show up. It was pretty fun because, I mean, I wasn't a real estate agent at the time. I'm like, oh, this is what we do all the time? It's great. So yeah, we had about maybe between 80 to about 120. It was a drop-in style event, so we didn't have to worry about people having to sit down for too long. They came in, you know, shake some hand, kiss some babies, and then, you know, send them off along the way after a couple of drink tickets, of course. And that's kind of about it. A couple of finger foods. We had a great turnout. We strategically placed our events in November, which would have put us indoors. Right, and so that venue we picked had a lot of parking, and if people needed to walk it off, they could go to the mall, and it worked out. So it was pretty good. We'd been doing this for a while, and then we, of course, Jason knows, we did a couple of events elsewhere. We did the whole scale from at home to basically at the track. That was a lot of fun. So. Yeah. I'll make sure it's less terrifying next time.
Oh, we'll get into Jason's experience on the track with you later.
Okay. That's a one-on-one. All right, cool.
Wonderful. Jared, how about yourself?
Can you hear me without the mic?
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Everyone complains my voice is too loud, so I don't think you need that. First event was first year as a realtor, and I did a skate with Santa, and the joke was, what if nobody shows up? And I said I'll have a private skating class with my daughter and Santa, and had about 50, 60 people show up in year one, and honestly, it was probably one of the best events I ended up throwing because there was she complained only 50. I was ecstatic to have 50 because I didn't need to have everyone. It was my core group that showed up, and it was all about just being out there and being in front of them and not worrying about failing.
Jared, can I ask you to use the mic because it activates the camera? Sorry.
Already getting yelled at.
So I was thinking about a skating event, and we had one years ago where somebody fell and broke their arm. That was a little risky event. Everything went smoothly for you?
That's what insurance is for.
That's fantastic. Krystle, do you have a charitable component to your events that you do? Can you share that with us?
To every event we do, we give back to the women's shelter. So this year we had our movie day. We had about 250 clients come through. We also invite every single person, mother and child from the women's shelter, to join us as well. We bus them in, and we have everybody bring a non-perishable food item for our movie day. We do a golf tournament. We just wrapped up in the end of September. Actually, Susan was there and Jen was there. We raised over $10,000, actually more than $10,000 this year. And then for our Christmas parties, we always have a toy drive as well, and we figure out what the women's shelter needs. We send out a list to our clients, and we get a lot of stuff for the women's shelter. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Mel, you're up.
Yeah, so we always have a charitable component to all of our events, whether it's, a donation for the food bank, for anything kind of not price of admission, but because we cover all the expenses, we say that's the price of admission, right? We ask them to bring something for the food bank. Or our latest event at Aaron Acre Hill, we were giving away lawn bags. Right, so we got them printed with Food for Kids Charlton, and then we had a little QR code. We said, if you want one, make a donation, whatever you want to make is totally fine. Also, with our donut drops, which we consider a client event, which we do around Valentine's Day, Krispy Kreme has a program where if you have a sponsorship type thing, where they'll give you a box of donuts for for $5, as long as you donate $5 to a charity, and you have to prove that you're doing it. So that's been an amazing thing that we integrate into our business as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. And so it's charity of your choice?
Yeah, whichever one you want.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Kai.
Excellent. So obviously you guys being Royal Pages should know that we do have the Royal Page Shelter Foundation, so that's a very easy way to start that foundation or the charity process, I should say. And, you can bring that up and raise some awareness. That's a good spot to start. And it's really easy because they have a website for that, so you just direct them to that. Other things that we've been doing too is we do social events where we do fundraising for food banks locally, so we get to choose one. And we accept obviously money donations, and we'll match it dollar to dollar. We walked away with we did a wine tasting event, so we had a whole car full of food. We had folks bringing stuff in, non-perishable items obviously. So those are the few things that we do. We even did little raffles, so we do a little bit of a little in-house lottery, if you would, kind of we had say we collected so much money, half the pot goes to the winner. The rest gets donated off, and then we match that dollar to dollar. So we try to always make that a component. Obviously, price of admission, that sometimes works. We did that one time with a social event. That is not for our clients, by the way, we do this publicly. Most people don't want to bring stuff because it feels like they're obligated to. So when we took that off as a mandatory requirement, then we started getting people back again. So sometimes, you have to put yourself forward first, and then people start giving. So that's what we do. But we mix it up, right? So whatever you can do, fundraising, and during the holidays, even birthdays, like Facebook, you give them that option to, perhaps raise some money for a social cause, whatever that is, and people can do that too. So whatever events that we can do where we can put that forward, we do that. It kind of adds an additional depth to that engagement, gives it a little bit more purpose, right? So that's what we do.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Jared, can you tell us about your Terry Fox run?
Okay, so this is going to be loud now because you're making me on mic, but not. I'm really against asking for donations. I do it at my Skate with Santa for a toy, for my charity, just as a nice way to give back. It's Christmas time, but at Terry Fox, or at least I was when I worked in corporate, you'd have all these individuals never return a phone call to you, but then, can you give me a fundraiser, fundraise this, fundraise that, and it just started turning me off wanting even to deal with them. So mine was come run with me. And anyone who runs with me, I make a donation for. My marketing guy got on my case big time, and he goes, what happens if 100 or 1,000 people run? And I go, I donate a lot of money. But I challenge my clients to run and make me donate, and it's my way of giving back to what I thought was a great cause.
Could you break it out a bit as to how it worked and
So it
what were all the
started,
moving parts?
I'll go a little bit where I don't like sharing this that much, but I lost my dad to cancer at a young age. So when I had my first kid, we did the Terry Fox run just to teach, kind of keep his memory alive and teach my kids who my dad was, who they'll never meet. And then year 2, a couple of my friends joined me saying, Jared, I want to run with you. And year 3, it actually started where I made a bet with a client of mine. I said, I can make everyone run around with my face on a shirt. And I go, I'll bet you I can make you wear the shirt. And he said, no way, easiest bet. I go, you can pick whatever you want. And when I got there, I made the shirts made up and looked at him and said, I don't make a donation unless you wear this. Everyone just kind of looked at him. He just shook his head. I won the bet, but I never accepted it. It was just more a point. So that was just kind of my way. And now I just market it out. Every single person come run. This year I actually had a booth there. I became part of the Terry Fox Foundation because I think we're almost on our 10th year doing it. But I think the biggest thing is on any event you do, you have to do something that you like. You've heard so many different events that everyone has done here. What she does might not work for me, and what I'm doing may not work for you. You have to do what you're passionate about. And by the way, I hate running. I run one time a year, and then I complain for the next week after it how many shin splints I have.
Oh my gosh. At the end of the event, what's the interaction with your clients and your friends and the people who support? How does that go?
So the first few years I used to take them out for breakfast, but then when they got too big, it was for my close ones, and not everyone would show up. I'd throw a party afterwards, and it was just come run and then let's get together, and just good way to interact with clients. And the people who normally ran became my friends now along the way. So it's just a good way to interact with them outside of real estate. And I don't think we talk real estate once the whole day.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What would be your investment for the day? Ballpark.
I think with donation, a few thousand. But I mean, it really comes down, the shirts end up being about $25 each. Yeah. And then, so it depends on how many people show up, and then it comes down to how much I'm donating.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So
the more people that come, like this year, it was really expensive. I think we had about 50 people come run, which I was proud of. We had up to 100 at one point, and of course, as the day comes, they don't show. They go out on a Saturday night, and you have to be in Mississauga at 8 a.m. to go do a Terry Fox run. It's not for everybody.
Did it rain this year?
It was actually nice and sunny.
Oh, awesome. Good. It seems like it always rains for that event. What other events do you host every year, or try to host every year?
So right now I'm in pumpkin hell. I don't do a pumpkin event. Pumpkins are disgusting, by the way. When they rot and go moldy, I can't wait to get my car detailed to get that smell out. But I think I'm in my last 2 trunkfuls. I do 800 pumpkins to all my clients and everyone else. And again, I don't like the event. I think, as you said, you deliver donuts.
We do some deliveries, yeah, different points.
I like the delivery aspect of the event because the interaction, I think I've talked to my entire database in this 1 month. So the amount of interactions I've had from that. But again, it's not fun. I'll tell you this straight up, it's the worst month of my life. My team says I'm the most stressed I've been this month, and I'm swearing at you because I have another truckload I got to get out, but I made a promise to you. I thought I would have been done by now.
Well, thank you. We're going to hold you here for a while, and you can even take a sandwich to go if you really want one.
I have a funny story about pumpkin deliveries.
Go for it, Mel. Thanks, Jerry.
So we've done pumpkin drops before, and the first year that we did them, we obviously priced out, where we were going to get them from and what have you. And one of our admin priced it out from this local farm, and we were excited to support them and what have you. So we had to go and pick up these pumpkins. and I quickly realized that we were delivering shit pumpkins to all of our clients. They were covered in shit, right? So it's like we'd have to like wipe them down before, and the car reeked for like months afterwards. So that was a lesson learned. It was a great lesson. So we paid a little bit more money and got the clean ones next time, not from the farm. Yeah.
Can you give a plug to the farmer that you get the good ones from, or?
You know what? I'm trying to
Remember?
I'm trying to remember.
Downey's does a good job usually.
Yeah, we've got them one year from them, but I think we got it from our local Metro. Oh, wow. Actually, they were able to give us like a discount or something. The clean ones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. Krystle, what's your favorite event?
So that's a hard question because I love my golf tournament because we honestly have the best time ever. Like, it's so much fun that we drink and play drinking games and fun and raise money and raffles. It's a lot of my friends from high school show up. People I haven't seen in years, and it grows every year. That's probably my favorite event, but I love our Christmas event just as much because I love seeing how my clients' families grow every year, and having to be able to see their kids interact with my kids and the team and just everybody coming together. So I kind of can't pick between the two. The movie day I don't really care about because it's, you sit in a movie theater, you can't talk. I'm a talker, obviously most of you are, and I like to communicate with my clients. So, and I don't golf. I'm learning. I don't golf. I drive around on the golf cart and I go and I see every single person. I bring them drinks. I talk to everybody. That's my networking. That's what I do during our golf tournament. So
fantastic. Kai, tell us about racing. Your racing event.
Racing. It's fast.
We all want to come, actually. Can we all come next year?
Yeah. It's like a 3-4 hour drive, though.
That's okay.
And you got to be there a little early to smell the gas.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. So, so I'm known as the race car driver. I don't do it on the streets. I try to do it on the track. Yeah. That was not me. Yeah, we drive similar cars. So yeah, we do track events. That's a lot of fun. Obviously, we did it a few times, not with clients, but we do it as part of sponsorships with different shops, different automotive entities, if you would. That's a lot of fun. And of course, there's a learning component to it. So I'm talking a little bit about my spot, my side, my experience with it. But by far and large, for clients, it's a bit difficult to, I would say, logistically organized, because it's kind of like if you want to be in the car, you gotta have to be at a certain age, even though the little kids want to be over there. So the best thing they could do is just throw a helmet on and kind of just jump next to the car and take photos, selfies. Track days are interesting because you also have to look up at the things that you don't think about when you show up at a track, right? Like you gotta get the EMS out. What do you do with people who have sunstroke or things that, like people need to stay hydrated? So you got to get a skid of water down there. So a lot of things that you got to kind of take an account for. And depending where you are at, you can take advantage of the facility. So the one that Jason went to, which is the nicer one, that one actually had an indoor component. There are places around Ontario that don't have that. So you're going to have to kind of position. And normally the best days to be on the track is a hot day. So you have to account for that, and of course there's going to be days that you show up that's going to be inclement. So you're also going to have to plan around that too. So there's a little bit more of that background logistics. Of course, the insurance component, that's really nice. No one wants to be in a wall. But yeah, that's largely it. But I think I like to stick to those are stressful because I'm the one driving. Right, so my interactions with clients are when they're like smashed against the side of my car, holding on to the holy smokes bar. So
was that Jason?
Yeah, sorry.
Was that Jason?
Well, one of them was Jason. Yeah, one of them was Jason.
My handprint is still in the door.
Yeah, it's still there. It's still there. Oh yeah.
Wow, how many people come out?
That event was interesting. Now, I was driving that day, so I was more or less focused on not blowing up my car. I would say there was probably well over 100 easy that day.
Wow,
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Will you do it again this year?
Well, next year, yeah. This year now it would be ice racing. Next year for sure, best times to be out if you're going to plan to be on the track. We start the racing season generally around March, just after the snow melts and the rain has stopped from April. And it goes all the way up to basically end of October. So around now, basically. Yeah.
How do you manage having that many people and on a track day?
Okay, so that's the thing, right? So it's not a one-person thing. So that's why it's not completely easily replicatable. You're going to need to have logistical support for that. And of course, I was blessed with working with folks that have been doing this for many years. So from a logistics, standpoint, he's got the marshal, the EMS, paramedics are out, towing trucks on standby, and helmets and all that for folks that want to be on the track, waivers, insurance. So that's all taken care of. Luckily for me, I just show up as a sponsor and just ante up a couple of cars. We did have a couple of drivers. I think Jason, did you jump into the other cars that were there?
No.
Just mine? Okay. Yeah, mine was the crowd favorite. But anyways, yeah, so we paid for 5 drivers to show up with their own cars. And the point of it is just to kind of show off that production cars that you see on the road can be fast on the track, right? So it's just the driver. That's where the cars become fast. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, fun is subjective. It was very stressful for me just because when you're driving, right, you're high adrenaline. So you don't breathe half the time, right? And then when you about to skid out, you go, oh, no, okay, we're alive. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So then I think my actual favorite client events are the ones that we host at home. Those are pretty low scale, a little bit higher maintenance. You need to get the house ready. But anytime we introduce karaoke, that's when it gets lit, right? That's where, in the end, you're belching and everybody's on the ground. So there's that. And then, of course, I think if you like to have that ambiance where you don't have to worry about the cleaning and maintenance, then just book it at the restaurant. But then just be prepared to bring out your wallet and enjoy yourself, I guess. That's kind of it.
Thanks, Kai.
Yeah.
Melissa.
My favorite client event. Okay. It's interesting. I was just we got the questions this morning, so Chuck and I were just talking about this. We have 2 different answers, and I was actually surprised by his because we did one client event. It was called Fall Spooktacular, and we actually did it in the parking lot of our satellite office. And that event was a real pain in the ass. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot to organize. And it was because I'll give you a tip. If you want to have a client event, the easiest thing you can do is have a venue that already has a lot of stuff there, right? If you have to do it all yourself, it becomes a little bit more complicated. So this particular event, we had the mac and food cheese food truck, we had the jerk chicken food truck, we had axe throwing, we had, all these different things. But there's one thing of why this is Chuck's favorite event. We had the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Wow.
Right? So that's his, which I was surprised. I thought the Star Wars one would have been his favorite, but anyways. With me, I think my favorite was Game Time Social. When we had an event there, it was a ton of fun. I'd never been. Has anyone ever been to Game Time Social? Okay, think Dave and Buster's kind of thing, but then they have a huge eating area, and upstairs there's a spot where you can host, I think, up to 250 or 280 people, kind of privately, and there's a bar and everything up there. But you got to be a kid again, so they give you the wristband, and you go and you play all the arcade games, and we got food, and we were celebrating 20 years in the business too. So
Wow.
yeah, it was
awesome.
great. That was my favorite.
So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. I'm going to ask you all a bunch of rapid fire questions, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
So my first question is, how many events do you do a year for your clients?
So we do 2 big events a year, but I would consider the way we kind of event, in terms of party, 2 big parties, but we have a whole calendar of touch points throughout the year, and we're doing things with our clients at least 10 out of 12 months, and that's planned usually November of the previous year for the entire year.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And what would be your investment every year in your client relationships like that?
Easily 6 figures.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably around 100 to 120.
And if you had a limited budget, which ones would you do, and how would you do it?
Oh, that's tough. Oh my God, I'd just have a blowout party every night. I definitely would, I had, sorry, you said unlimited or limited?
Limited.
Limited budget?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I thought you said unlimited.
No.
I wanted to hear that, so
Yeah,
that's why I thought
I
you
know you
said that. Yeah. If I had a limited budget, what I would focus on is the drops. I think they're good bang for your buck, as this gentleman also had that experience. We do 2 of those a year consistently. And also skating parties are pretty low cost. And we did a virtual event. I totally forgotten about this, where we did a virtual cookie decorating class. So people could register. We delivered all of the dry ingredients and all the decorating things to their front door. And then we did it online, and that was pretty cost effective as well.
It's a great idea. Thank you. Krystle, how about you?
How many?
Yeah.
We do typically 2 to 3 parties, or between the movie day, golf tournament, and Christmas party, we do 3.
Okay. And then what would
Yeah.
you say your investment would be every year?
Anywhere between 10 to 20,000. We're not like this one, but we do what we have to. But we do what we have to. Yeah.
So how does it expand your relationships? Can you quantify it?
Yeah, like, it just builds stronger relationships with your clients, and they trust you more. You kind of become friends. It's not just a client-agent relationship anymore. They become part of your family. And, it's nice to see them interact with my family as well, and they get to know my kids, and my kids get to know them. It's priceless. It really is, the relationships you build, and I find, like, most of my business is repeat and referral. I don't do a lot of new business, and I think it's all led up from all these events that we do constantly.
Yeah. So everything started small, though.
Everything started small.
You know, and with a limited budget, and you sort of grow
Sad
from
Yeah.
there.
bowling party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bowling party at
Sad
6
bowling
points. Okay, that's perfect. How do you get people out to your events?
So every event is a little bit different. Our movie day, we send out a newsletter and emails to all our clients. We have a client care that will call as well and invite everyone. We post it on social media because we want as many people as we can to our movie day. Our golf tournament, this year was a little bit different, but typically we have a lot of the same people come back, and it's first come, first serve, and it's sold out within days. This year, we decided to go a little bit bigger, and we had an 18-hole golf course instead of 9, and we needed 120 golfers. But this year's not been good for everybody, and we ended up having only 70, so it was a little bit smaller than what we had hoped for. So that we did put out to a lot more people on social media, and did try to get more people out than just the sphere that are used to going. And then our Christmas party, it's really just for our clients. So we just send out evites, we call everybody. That's pretty much it, yeah.
I don't hear anybody saying that they're going to pull back on their client interactions. And, that's sort of on trend a little bit in the industry. Yet you guys are all planning for next year.
Yeah.
It sounds
Sometimes
like
you got to
it's a good
scale
investment.
back a bit depending on what's happening, because like,
Yeah.
like our big Christmas party, you want to get people to donate toys and stuff, and there's a lot of people struggling right now. So we're trying to figure out what we can do that's a little bit different this Christmas because of that. And we might not have our big party this year because of what's been happening. And so that's a little bit disheartening to me too, because it's my favorite event, but you can't ask for people this time for a lot of things, you know what I mean? Like it's hard. So we'll try and give back in a different way this year.
Thank you. It's awesome. Kai,
Yes, Alex, go ahead.
tell me how your events change your relationships or expand your relationships with your clients. And if you had a limited budget, what would you do? If you had to go back and start again.
Like day one,
Yeah.
kind of a thing with knowing what I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of how it changed my relationships, I mean, all of our clients know we are legendary for our parties. We like to have fun. Tan always says we're party animals. He's the party animal. I just watch. But we had a lot of fun. We like to always put it out words first that it is fun first. Real estate, let that be organic, because they know what you do. You're not a secret agent, I hope. So so people will naturally ask you after a couple of drinks, how's the real estate market doing? Of course, that can be a whole hour's discussion or longer, as much as they have questions for us. We typically kind of just put a cut on that and say, listen, we'll have a chat about that, but let's just focus on this. I'll follow up with you after this event, see if we can, chase an opportunity. So that's kind of what we do. So we have fun first, and then the idea is these events that we host is that we say, bring your family, bring your friends out, bring someone I've never seen before. The goal of these events should first and foremost always be increasing your network base. I think that's where the key is. And so, once you have that opportunity to follow up, have chats, and especially if you make these events very memorable, like, Alex, you've been to one of our events too, like the one with the Johnny Walker, or is it the Crown Royal? I know Pinder's been to the one with the Johnny Walker. That's a lot of fun, and those are actually very low budget events, right? So I think if I had to go back and do this all over again, I would start with micro events, because I know a lot of people are a little bit skittish about making big macro events where you're having tons of people show up that's unaccounted for. And while it's great because it makes you look big and very successful, you can't interact with everybody, right? You only have so much time in the day, or at least for that event. So the idea is you want to have smaller, more frequent micro events where you can actually communicate and connect with people that you can one-on-one. So we try to keep those events. We do, just to go back to one of the questions Alex had asked, how many do you do? We try to do one, at least one micro event every other 30 to 45 days, time frame, willing. And then we try to do at least one or two major events, right? And that's where we have to start. So micro events could be anything, right? Like anything. You could just bring them to a restaurant. You can segregate out your clients by city. So you probably have clients from Toronto, go to Toronto and probably rope in a couple of your clients from that side of town, go to a nice restaurant, have a little bit of fun. Or if you're in Mississauga and you happen to be in this area, come to the office. We can do a little bit of a movie night. I don't know if karaoke is permitted here, but then we have the Firkin. So whatever you can do to kind of drag people out of their house, come and meet you in person, I think that's where the key is, when you're able to have a one-on-one chat with them. Because not only are you catching up, breaking bread, but they're going to tell you about their plans. And that's where you can kind of chase an opportunity and see if you can connect the dots. So yeah, you can do it anywhere really, even just it's 5 or 10 people, just sit down, break bread, order food. I always find that to be great because people come out, they need to eat, so that's a good reason to meet, right? So, or drink if you do that. So, yeah. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Jared, how many, how much, and what does it turn out for you? How does it turn out for you?
How many? About 6 to 8, 6 to 10, somewhere in there. And how much? How much do I spend, or how much did I spend?
Okay.
They cost me over 30 grand. I spent probably 2,500 this year.
Okay.
Get good partners. Biggest advice I can get you. My partners pay for everything.
Fantastic.
And I don't ask for a lot of different partners. Oh, I'll give you this if you throw me business. I don't want any of that. But then when I hit them up, do you want to sponsor or do an event with me? I don't even have to ask twice. I didn't pay for my pumpkins. I don't pay for my ice. I don't pay for anything. I have good partners. For food, I don't think I paid for food once. It's my partners who I helped out during COVID when everybody was sitting here scared to do anything. I went out there promoting the small businesses and marketing the small businesses, and they've been paying it forward for me every single year. I'd say the most expensive ones are probably my Maple Leaf tickets, but I can't get partners to buy that.
Not and send you mean?
What's that?
Do you go to the game with your clients, or do you give them?
It's 50-50. I will offer my client them to good clients, and half time they want to go with me, and then you're basically paying for all the food and booze.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to just send them.
It is. It is. Good call. I sent myself an email yesterday so I would remember to mention this, but I just sent a headline that said, remember COVID. Remember during the pandemic, we're thinking of ways to reach out and just touch base, and people were dropping off a little token of something on people's door and things like that. Those little things can happen today too. We don't have to wait for a global pandemic. And those things turn into the things that you guys are doing now, and many of you are as well. I really appreciate you guys coming out today and talking about what you do and how you do it and how much you spend. And from a revenue side, can you give us an idea without the round numbers, just transactionally, how has it floated your business a bit?
6 figures easily.
Full
Like
stop.
just pumpkins alone, I've picked up 4 listings.
Wow, it's impressive. Kai?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, real estate's time driven, right? So
Yeah.
you do it today so you can have it sometime down the road. So I say, if I just have the count just major events, not the small micro events, because those tend to build up, I would say between 3 and 4 deals out of that, easy. And for what you're spending and for the factor of fun that you're getting for that, it's a pretty good deal if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. But then it's just building up I would say the funnel. That's where you start and you kind of work on that. Yeah.
We do you really expand your footprint through Andrew's Farm event.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That we do every year now. It's
Yeah.
become an annual, and it started to be a small event, and it's just sort of
Yeah.
grown and grown and grown.
Oh yeah.
How many people did you invite out last year? Do you remember?
Last year,
Or this year, I should say.
yeah. So this year the turnout was a little bit less, just because it happened to coincide with one of my partners who also has a lot of our clientele too. So they had the prior notice before the Andrews Far came out. So they ended up going to that. Most of them went to that one because it was slightly cooler. They had the whole Toronto Zoo book, basically.
Okay.
I would go to that one too. But the year prior to that was really good. So we had a ton of people show up for that. I mean, it's a great Saturday. It was a Saturday, right? Yeah. And then so we just put the e-blast outside. I think one of the questions you had asked me was like, how did you turn that into an event, right? So once we found out that we could call as many people as we wanted, I just put the e-blast out, and it gave me an excuse to give people a ring. So we put out, maybe at any point in time, we probably have somewhere between 60, 75 touch bases a year from our clients. That's a combination of e-blasts, newsletters, phone calls, birthday cards, anniversary cards, you name it, we have it, drop-offs, all that kind of stuff. You'd probably hear from us at least between that number of times, whether I have your address or your email or phone. Right, and so we do that. So we heard that this is coming up. We were like, oh, right, well, I'm going to be there myself, so might as well call a couple folks out. And so it was a very easy phone call. It's like, hey, Blake, you want to come up for this event? Sure, when? Okay, great. How many people is coming? Done. Yeah. And that's kind of about it. And then, of course, you link up with them. They tell about your plan. So just from that last year, we did get a deal out of that one, which is really good. So whatever you can do to turn an event into a social cause, or just putting yourself in front of people, I think that's amazing, especially if you didn't have to shell the eddies for it. Go for it, right? Make it an event, and I think it's about the experience. People want to be able to look back. So I remember being squashed against the side of your car. Like these are great ideas. Whatever you can do to get people out of their house.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mel?
Okay, so the original question was, what's the return, roughly, right?
Sure,
Okay.
might have been.
What I would say, we don't track per event because there's so much that goes into the after unit, over the course of a year. But the return on investment is 6 to 7 figures depending on the year. What I would say, one of the best things with client drops, with parties, with everything, it gives you an excuse to speak to your clients, right? One of the things on our team that when a partner comes on our team, when an agent comes on our team, I'm like, you have to keep in touch with your client at least once a quarter, right? Let's give them a happy reason to keep in touch. Not do you want to buy and sell your home? You know what I mean? Let's give them a good reason. So all these things that everyone's talking about today, it's just another touch on your clients, right? A good reason to speak to them.
And a check-in.
A check-in, how you doing? Yeah.
I mean, we go back to checking in with people and seeing how they're doing, and not everyone's okay.
No.
Krystle, can you be the last word today?
I can be the last word. I don't keep track either. We do so many different things all year round that it would be hard to track that, but I know that we do bring in a lot of business because of all the events that we do, and it's just touch points. It's just being there, and we have clients who call us in September finding out when our next event is. Or when's our Christmas party, or what we need, or that's what we want. We want people to start calling us and not just always being the one to reach out to them.
It's wonderful. It's our culture. right? That's what it's become, and people expect it from us. And I hope some of you will get something out of that today from these 4 superstars for doing all this work. But it doesn't sound like work. It sounds like fun, except for your pumpkins.
The pumpkins are the worst. We did it one year. I will never
I know,
do it
I'm just
again.
kidding.
Nope.
It's fun.
It is
and that's,
fun.
You have to choose what you like doing, because then it's not really work. Like the Skate with Santa, love it. All the teams I sponsor come out, it's a big event, it's work.
Yeah.
Nothing's not work, and I think but I think these two have a better team behind them right now that does most of it.
Our men, I mean, we're like infantized at this point. Like our men do everything. Like they're so amazing. Like so much respect for the men's.
Can we have their numbers?
No.
No. Okay.
You're not allowed to speak to them either.
Everyone, thank you very much for today. Do you have one more thing to add?
No.
Okay, thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll share the recording with you, and have a great day. Thank you.